Hello everyone, I'm Max, and today I'm here to maximize your fear. Brand new Bigfoot footage that's shocking the world. Today we take a look at new Bigfoot footage and sightings coming from Canada, Ohio, and many other places with very convincing evidence. From HD Sasquatch trail camera videos to Bigfoot hunting clips and so much more. Also stay tuned for a special and crazy nature clip at the end of this video. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. So grab your I Found Bigfoot coffee mugs and allow your fear to be maximized as we dive into the newest clear Bigfoot footage, mega compilation. So if you guys keep up with Bigfoot evidence like I do, you probably have heard of the name Todd Standing before. I've covered practically all of his sightings here on my channel. Well, he's just now in the process of releasing some brand new evidence. He describes himself as a wilderness tracker who has spent years studying what he believes to be a Sasquatch population. A real population of Bigfoot-like creatures living deep in the mountains of Western Canada. Standing says he has had numerous close encounters and claims to have captured some of the clearest video and photographic evidence of the creature ever recorded. While recently he took someone named Paul Calandrino on a so-called Bigfoot expedition with him. On this expedition, they would not only come in contact with a male Sasquatch, but they would catch it on film. But for now, he's only released these two still shots from the video, but he says he's going to release the full video and all of the sighting details by the end of this month. So as soon as everything comes out, I'll definitely be making another video. I just wanted to let you guys in on this and show you what he has released so far, because even though it's just two still shots, they're still pretty compelling. The first video still isn't super exciting though, it's just the top of the supposed Sasquatch head. All we can see is the left side of its dome-shaped head slightly peeking over a snowy log. But the second video still is much more exciting. We see the full domed head of the Bigfoot-like creature, seemingly hiding behind the fallen branches. Let's take a listen about what Todd Standing himself has to say about all of this.
To the right of this weird upside down rooted log, there's the head. That's the first one. Here we are second week. Here on the other side of the log, in a bigger space, is a much clearer shot of a Sasquatch's head. Now remember, this is video stills. The footage is all coming out.
He compares his new captures to some of his previous, way more famous captures. He claims it has the same domed head, and when they encountered it in real time, it looked a lot like Jake, the name he gave to this Sasquatch-like creature that he supposedly encounters a lot out there in the mountains. But I guess we'll have to stay tuned to see the full clip and to see what they really captured this day. So far, it's still some pretty cool evidence. It's not often you see a classic Bigfoot researcher come out with some new evidence that was just captured. Let me know what you guys think though. Here is a newer Bigfoot video just highlighted at the beginning of the year. This one is absolutely terrifying, showing an up-close encounter from a couple of hunters. They were out hunting this day when they recalled hearing something very large getting closer and closer to them. Eventually, it would make itself known, and it wasn't happy. It began charging directly at them, and this is when one of them quickly grabbed their camera and recorded the attack last second. This absolutely gigantic creature rushes at them, and the man has no choice but to shoot. It's unknown if he missed the shot or if he hit the creature. Regardless, it didn't have any effect on it. The creature completely bowls them over, knocking the camera out of the man's hand. This is where the footage ends though. Now we don't know exactly what happened next, but it was said that their camera was found near their hunting location, but the two men were nowhere to be seen. This isn't 100% verified though. If this is the case, this was likely their last footage. Now, even though the footage is very clear and close up, skeptics aren't satisfied, claiming this could be a good AI clip made to trick the internet. Which AI is very good now, and I feel like I talk about it a lot, but it does need to be talked about. This could be the answer with this one, but man, it looks so real. Usually it's at least somewhat easy to distinguish between artificial intelligence and real videos, but this one just looks so real. The way the creature moves towards them, the way the man shoots the rifle, their realistic reactions, I don't know. Could this be all too real and these men really did get attacked by a Bigfoot this day? Or is it too good to be true? Your guess is as good as mine. Let's take a look at some more up-close Bigfoot footage. This is a pretty unique sighting. Someone was tent camping deep in the woods of the Appalachian Mountains. It was early in the morning when the camper awoke to the sound of something moving through the nearby area. Something that reportedly sounded very large and powerful. So he peeked out of his mosquito flap through his tent, and this is what he saw. Not knowing what else to do, he begins filming it through the mosquito flap. Because it's filmed through the screen, it kind of blurs the video and lowers the quality quite a bit, but we still can see the face of something that can only be described as Bigfoot. It has dark, hollow eyes, a large round nose, a strong bone structure. It really does look like something primate but human. The exact description of Bigfoot. Now, this video was taken back in 2017 when AI videos weren't a thing like today, so we know it's not that. But man, imagine camping and waking up in the morning and looking out of your tent, and this is what you see. The fact that the camper was able to keep his composure and get a good video is impressive. Also, like I said, this was taken in the Appalachian Mountains, a stretch of wilderness that is infamous for sightings like this. Not just Bigfoot sightings, but pretty much every cryptid you can think of. Pretty much anything scary you could think of. Ghosts, extraterrestrials, you name it. But anyways, I thought this was a very cool but deeply disturbing Bigfoot encounter. And I hope you guys did too. Coming right back at you with some more scary Bigfoot footage. This one is captioned, "Bigfoot attacks hunter in Ohio." Even though this is the caption, the attack isn't really seen in the video, though the Bigfoot-like creature is moving towards them pretty aggressively. Take a look. The short clip was highlighted towards the beginning of 2025. I really wish the video was longer, but the clip we do have is pretty clear. This is obviously no bear, no gorilla, no known animal. It's something heavy, bipedal, and predatory. You can tell by its posture and the quickness of its movements that it's angry, and I'm pretty sure the filmers picked up on this pretty quickly. Right after recording this brief footage, they turn and run for their lives, knowing they would have no chance against a creature like this. But Ohio has a surprisingly rich history when it comes to Bigfoot reports. Even though the state isn't known for massive wilderness like Pacific Northwest, its deep forests, rolling hills, and river valleys have produced sightings for generations. In Ohio specifically, the creature is often nicknamed the Grassman. The name comes from reports claiming the being builds crude nests or bedding areas out of tall grass and branches. Witnesses typically describe it as 7 to 9 feet tall, heavily built, covered in dark hair, and sometimes giving off a strong odor. The Grassman is most strongly associated with eastern and southeastern Ohio, especially wooded regions near the Ohio River Valley. So is this the so-called Ohio Grassman? And why was it so angry? Maybe the hunters were in its territory or something? Whatever the reason, they were lucky to make it out of there alive. So in my last Bigfoot video, I talked about the renowned Bigfoot researcher Todd Standing and his newest evidence. I showed a couple still shots from a video he's going to release soon. And although his full new video isn't out yet, I did some digging on some of his other evidence, and I came across some lesser known pieces of video from Todd Standing. These two videos are very clear and super unique, and I've never covered them before on this channel, so here you go. He recalls this was the biggest Sasquatch he has ever seen. In the video, we see a giant bipedal creature standing upright. It almost blends in with its surroundings, but not quite. Then, as it realizes it's been spotted, it quickly hunches down and tries to duck back beneath the foliage and hide. Todd even did a size comparison and went and stood where the supposed Bigfoot was standing, and he recalls that it wasn't even close, and it completely blew his mind. Now the next day he recorded what he calls the best video evidence of Bigfoot in existence, besides the Patterson-Gimlin film. He records a giant ape-like creature running through the forest at tremendous speeds. And just look how quickly it travels. First, we see it way back on the hill in the first shot, and then just seconds later, it's already way down the side of the hill. It runs through these thick and treacherous conditions with complete ease, seemingly way quicker than a person could. Now, I had never seen these Todd Standing clips before, and I really like them. The size of the creatures, how fast they move, and even the way they move, everything seems to check out. But since Todd is said to be kind of controversial in the Bigfoot world, I'll let you guys decide for yourselves. Let me know what you all think in the comments down below. Here is a brand new Bigfoot video just released on February 17th, 2026. The footage was uploaded with little context, but it was taken somewhere in the US. The footage is recorded in super slow-mo, giving us the best look at the being. A lone hiker films the forest around him, but he began recording and approaching the tree right in front of him because he could have sworn he saw something peeking out from behind it. As he nears closer, the figure makes itself known again. From behind the trees, something tall and covered in straggly fur emerges. Now I can't really tell if this is the being's shoulder and arm or if it's more of the face and shoulder. Some are saying they see its face, but others are saying it's just its shoulder and arm. And if this is really just its arm, that would make this thing insanely tall. Its head would give it at least another foot in height. But the footage continues as the creature peeks out and then slowly makes its way back behind the tree. And this is where the video ends. It's assumed the man realized that this is likely something he didn't want to mess with, so he quickly left right after. Now skeptics say it could just be a bear or a monkey, but since it was taken in the US, the monkey theory is pretty much debunked. And most agree that even though we can only see a small portion of it, it doesn't move and really look like a bear at all. They say it's too humanoid-like. So did this lone hiker really stumble upon a hiding Bigfoot in the woods this day? A Bigfoot that was trying its hardest to remain hidden out there? Now, when you think about Bigfoot and unknown creatures in the mountains, you think of the Appalachian Mountains. However, the Smoky Mountains are said to be a Bigfoot hotspot as well. And there's one specific piece of video from there that has been going pretty viral. The encounter was recorded near Clingman's Dome. which is actually the highest point in elevation in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. It was taken in the winter of 2011. And what makes this one so compelling is the amount of people that witnessed it.
What's he doing?
There's a huge group of people all watching intently, trying to figure out what this was. You can hear some of them in the video saying Bigfoot as they watch in awe. The filmer zooms in and captures this creature as well as he can with his older camera. We do indeed see a huge dark figure in the distance, moving around between the trees. Not only is it huge, but it looks very tall too, and once again too tall to be a person. Now, so many reports of strange encounters like this come from the mountains. Here are some of the odd reports from hikers, campers, and hunters in the Smokies. Wood knocks echoing through the forest at night, heavy bipedal footsteps circling campsites, strong musky odors described as worse than a wet dog, whoops or screams that don't sound like known wildlife, and large human-like footprints found in mud or along riverbanks. Many witnesses say encounters happen in more remote sections of the park, away from main tourist trails. Some describe seeing a tall, dark, hairy figure crossing a trail or standing among the trees at dusk. So pretty much exactly what happened in this video, but these guys just happened to catch it on camera. And for many people, Bigfoot in the Smoky Mountains represents much more than just a creature. It's a symbol of the unknown still hiding in wild places. Whether viewed as folklore, misidentification, or even something unexplained, the legend continues to thrive in the shadowy ridges of the Smoky Mountains. The following is some brand new, very clear photographic evidence of Bigfoot. It was just highlighted in late January of this year. It's one of the clearest photos to date, but there's still a pretty big debate going on with this one. Here's the photo. Analyzing the up-close image, we see some kind of Bigfoot-like creature peering between some pieces of wood. It's believed this creature was hiding in a very old abandoned barn far out on some rural property. It's said that someone was out exploring late at night when they peeked into the structure, and this is what they were met with. The eye of an unidentified creature staring back at them. Everything about the creature's face looks pretty real, from its patchy hair to its darkened lips and nose to its human-like eye. There's no doubt that if this is real, that it's a Bigfoot. This couldn't really be anything else. However, of course, with the current state of technology and the recent advancements of artificial intelligence, people write this one off as AI. Which I'm not saying it's not, I'm taking a neutral stance like usual. But I personally don't like how far AI has come, because now if real Bigfoot evidence ever comes out, skeptics can just easily dismiss it as AI. They can literally blame everything on AI. Like, what if this photo here is real, and majority of people are just writing it off because of this? I think we honestly just need to get rid of all this AI stuff altogether, but I think we're in too deep now. So I honestly doubt that would ever happen. But that's my AI rant for now, and what do you all think about this one? This one's in your hands. Let's take a look at some unique Bigfoot footage. This quick clip comes from a group of Russian soldiers who were out in the woods this day when they started experiencing something very strange. While out in this Russian forest in 2023, they spotted a jet black creature, a humanoid creature, running by right in front of them. So since they're soldiers, they're obviously armed, so they raise their rifles and begin taking shots at this creature. But the creature seems completely unfazed. Either these soldiers are terrible shots, or whatever is running from them is practically bulletproof. Here's the footage slowed down. Now some skeptics say this could just be an opposing soldier in a ghillie suit or something, but the width of the figure and the way it runs tells us otherwise. Something just seems off about it, like something not quite human. And yes, there are many Bigfoot-like sightings that come from Russia, but there they call it the Almas. And not only just from Russia, but all around the world, soldiers claim to have encounters like this all the time. Because of the off-the-grid places these soldiers go, they often run into things we were never meant to see, things we never knew existed. Now here is a trail camera capture of something deeply disturbing. Some kind of unknown, very large humanoid figure crawling around on all fours. This is not your typical Bigfoot evidence. This was taken on May 28, 2021 at 9:48 p.m. by a spy point camera set up in a remote location in an unmarked forest. And now you can see why it's so disturbing. The unidentified subject looks human-like, but not. It doesn't have any hair, and it looks to have lighter colored skin layering its body. And here it's seen walking on all fours, but it looks like it's about to stand up and walk on two legs. Its bottom legs are thick and sturdy, and its top ones look slightly smaller and stubbier. And what the hell is going on with its head? The area around its head is much darker than the rest of its body, and part of it almost looks blurred out. Maybe it was moving and it's some kind of motion blur, or somehow it was distorted by the camera. Naturally, people who viewed the image tried to come up with some answers. Some say it's a sick bear, some say it's a large feral person out there, and others even claim Bigfoot. And other viewers say it's some kind of other cryptid lurking out there. Now this one really is just so off-putting. It looks like something human, but not quite. One of the scariest things you could ever encounter out there in the forest. And since trail cameras have been becoming more popular and the footage is getting more clear, more and more captures just like this are coming out. Strange things in the woods that people have no explanation for. And this here is a prime example. I have no idea what this is, but it damn sure is terrifying. This is the first good Bigfoot video of the month. It was just taken on March 5th, 2026 in Washington State. A large group of people were out on a sightseeing boat trip. The large boat slowly makes its way around the lake, giving the passengers breathtaking views of the landscape. Well, this time they would spot something that would take their breath away, but not in a good way. As they floated past this pine tree covered island, some kind of unidentified creature crawls out from within the trees. It crawls out on all fours, right on the shore. Then it stops and pops its head up and looks in the direction of the boat. It seems it was caught off guard, not expecting any company, and it didn't know what to do. It stares at them for some time, and then looks back down, and then this is when the video comes to an abrupt end. Now, from where the boat passengers were, they couldn't really see the creature that well, because they were so far away. But if you have one of the newer iPhones, you know how far these things can zoom. They can zoom in and give you a way better look than the naked eye. It's actually really impressive. And this is likely what happened here. The phone camera allowed the filmer to see what the other passengers couldn't. This is likely why we don't really hear anyone react in the video. The figure itself, though, is covered in thick brown hair and certainly looks like a Bigfoot. But why is it behaving this way? Maybe as a way to blend in and not be seen? Or maybe it was going for a drink of water and that's why it was crouched down like that. All I know is this is some pretty good footage, especially for being brand new. It's not every day that you see new evidence that's this compelling. But let me know what you guys think, real or fake? Moving away from Washington, 2 new pieces of video have just come out from Pennsylvania. One of them consists of footage of a Sasquatch-like creature just walking through a forest, and the other one shows some amazing footprint evidence deep in the snow. These are 2 separate encounters though that come from a similar area. Let's go ahead and roll the first clip. This clip and the second one were highlighted on February 19th, 2026. The person who submitted this video to online sources states, quote, "I have a friend who lives up in Pennsylvania and he insists that he saw a Bigfoot. He sent me this video in a group chat and I'm not sure what to think of it. I just wanted to consult people who actually know something about Sasquatch and whether this looks legit or not," end quote. And as you can see in the footage, we do see what appears to be an upright dark figure maneuvering through the snowy forest. It walks pretty quickly in a straight line, just looking ahead focused on its path. Now of course it is pretty obscured by the branches and such, but we still get a decent look. And it's hard to say for sure, but it does look pretty Sasquatch-like. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the second Pennsylvania video.
Bro, like, look how wide these are from each other. Like, these are mine. That, bro. Like, for real? Let's follow. Look at this. What kind of thing made these steps, dude? Like, it goes all the way up into there.
The man is absolutely shocked at the huge human-like footprints he's found in the snow. His reaction seems super genuine. He genuinely seems concerned and frightened. He truly doesn't know what to make of these strange prints. And considering these 2 pieces of evidence come from a similar area and they were released right around the same time, could they have both showcased the same creature? Or maybe even a family of Bigfoots who reside in the area? And as I've stated before, PA does have a pretty decent Bigfoot history, so many don't think this would be too far-fetched. I just hope that more encounters like this keep coming out. And if they do, you already know I'll keep you guys updated. Here is a controversial video clip that some are calling the clearest Bigfoot evidence yet. Like a lot of Bigfoot evidence, skeptics and believers are in a heated debate, with believers saying it's legit footage and skeptics saying it's simply AI or a gorilla. Take a look. There's no doubt about one thing, the footage is pretty clear. The up-close footage does indeed show a huge primate-like creature. It seems too large and upright to be a gorilla though some skeptics say it is. Also, it's believed to be taken somewhere in North America, which doesn't have any wild gorillas at all. And there were no reports of any escaped gorillas from any nearby zoos, so it pretty much couldn't have been. The footage is also very quick, only giving us a quick glance at what the witness saw this day. It's interesting how it scratches its head just like a human would, and you can see its human-like hand as well. If it is real, it's definitely one of the clearest pieces of Bigfoot evidence. And once again, this is a very new clip, so if more details come out, you guys will be the first to hear about it. For now, it's just a really quick, mysterious video with little known about its background. Could it really be some of the best Bigfoot footage yet? Or are we just getting our hopes up? Let me know. Sticking with the theme of mysterious evidence, this is about as mysterious as it gets. A recent photo has emerged online, piquing people's curiosity. Pretty much nothing was released about the background though, just like the last video. But following the pattern of the previous video, it's some rather clear evidence too. Check it out. We see a jet black humanoid creature covered in coarse hair. Its hair is straggly yet thick, similar to the hair you would find on a wild animal that lives in the rugged wilderness. People are baffled by this one because it doesn't look like your typical Sasquatch. It seems to be a little smaller and more thin, so cryptozoologists are calling this one a female. Regardless, it's still pretty broad, with wide shoulders, a thick torso and chest, and brawny legs. And its face is the most disturbing part. Even though the figure is dark and we can't see the features the greatest, we can still see its excessively huge nose and its slightly open mouth. Its face looks pretty much like a Neanderthal's. And look at the way the hair gets thicker and bushier around its head. These fur inconsistencies and minute face details add a lot to its realness factor. For example, some Bigfoot evidence you see, the creature almost looks freshly groomed. This one here looks like it's really been surviving in the wild. It looks more untamed and wild. And once again, like I always say, if any more info is found about this one, I'll post an update and let you all know. But for now, we're just left with many questions. Who took this photo, and where was the photo taken, and what's the full story here? Is the picture clear enough to tell the story for us? If so, is it fiction or is it non-fiction? So it's been brought to my attention that a brand new and very compelling Bigfoot sighting just happened. This one though doesn't come with any photographic or videographic evidence yet. It's only the first-hand account from the witnesses. But it's very interesting and I knew I needed to tell you guys about it. It took place near Belton Lake, a wooded reservoir area in central Texas with many ATV trails and forested shoreline. The incident reportedly happened on March 2nd, 2026, and quickly became a topic of discussion among cryptid enthusiasts and Bigfoot researchers. A father and son were riding ATVs on a trail near the lake. The encounter happened around 7 p.m. near dusk. As they moved through the woods, they noticed the forest suddenly went quiet, something many Bigfoot witnesses described before a sighting. The father then reportedly saw a large upright figure moving through the trees. He described it as around 7 feet tall, solid black with hints of brown hair, and walking upright and moving with purpose. Now the father allegedly snapped a picture of the supposed creature, however the image has not been released yet. So researchers consider it an unverified eyewitness report at this point. The location itself may help explain why the story gained attention. The forests around Belton Lake include large stretches of woodland, brush, and rugged terrain. Areas like this can limit visibility and allow wildlife or anything else moving through the trees to stay hidden pretty easily. But until clear evidence surfaces, such as a released photograph, video footage, or physical proof, the event sits in the same category as many other modern Bigfoot sightings, intriguing but not 100% confirmed. Here is a brand new, pretty clear video of Bigfoot. It comes from Ohio, and it was just posted on March 15th, 2026. And what's crazy is so many sightings are coming out from Ohio right now. I have multiple videos today that come from Ohio and some photos and some other crazy evidence too, so stay tuned. I don't know what the heck is going on there, but here's the first video.
What the hell is that?
This one actually comes from a farmer who was in his kitchen this afternoon. He looked out of his kitchen window and immediately noticed a tall, dark, man-like creature walking through the open field towards the dense woods. It walks with the classic hunched posture, and the way it strides doesn't look quite human. Its long arms hang down at its sides, moving slightly with every forward step. It also does look to be larger than a person, not just its height, but its build too. But this video has been getting some serious attention online, even though it was just released the other day. And of course, the debate with this one is ongoing. Some say it's AI, some say it's a person playing a prank, and others say it's real, including the farmer himself who caught it on video. And with Ohio's recent crazy uptick in these kinds of sightings, it's making many believe even more. But what do you guys think? Is it AI, a clever trick, or is it real? Regardless, it's some very clear footage. Some mysterious clear footage that may show the infamous Bigfoot in rural Ohio. Let's go ahead and take a look at another instance where Bigfoot was caught on camera in a field. Now this one is a little blurrier than the last one, but the encounter itself is really good and we can still see the creature pretty good. The encounter here is super realistic. The reactions of the witnesses are insanely believable. Take a look.
Oh my god, it's coming over here. It's coming over here.
Go inside.
Oh my god, what is that? Oh my god. Can someone get the flashlight? Go get the flashlight, Eric. Holy what is that?
Nobody, everybody's inside.
They're all standing in their backyard just watching in shock. They don't know what to do besides stand there and record. One of the guys eventually calls out to the creature and at first nothing happens, it just keeps walking. But then it turns and looks in their direction and it starts sprinting right at them.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, you're on it right now. Right there. See it right there? It's huge. See it over there?
Dude, that's on 2 legs.
Watch it. Get the flashlight on it.
Hey! Oh, that's a fucking great.
This causes them all to scream and run as fast as they can inside, knowing the only thing stopping this creature from getting to them is a small barbed wire fence that separates their property from the field. And they knew whatever this was could likely clear the fence with ease, so they had to act fast. This is obviously where the video cuts off. The man recording shut off the camera in panic. But it said they all made it inside safely and the creature retreated back into the wilderness. Now this is either some of the best acting ever or this is a real sighting. Paying attention to the witnesses' behavior is one of the most important factors when deciding if a Bigfoot video is real or not, in my opinion. And the creature itself looks very Bigfoot-like as well, like a textbook Sasquatch. Some say it looks a little smaller though, so Bigfoot researchers say it's simply a juvenile. But this is probably one of my favorite Bigfoot videos I've seen in a while. It really seems like this family were just enjoying a nice summer day in their backyard, when all of a sudden they spotted this dark figure in the distance. And even though it was originally released back in 2022, it's pretty much flown under the radar. But now it's being spread around for everyone to see. Here is a new and clear video of an absolutely huge Bigfoot. It was released towards the end of 2025 by a man named Jeff. He states, "I was out on a hike when I caught this on camera. He reaches a clearing and spots something large moving through the foggy forest. So he pulls out his phone and begins recording, and this is when the figure reveals itself. This Bigfoot-like creature is gigantic. It has a large humanoid face, defined arm muscles, and an overall powerful frame. Video analysts estimate the being at around 8 feet tall, taller than any human. One of the features that stands out the most is its dark eyes. Its eyes almost appear lifeless and hollow, indicative of an undiscovered predatory creature. Another thing people point out is its arm swing as it walks. It looks exaggerated and very animated, which is usually what people report in sightings like these. The fact that the video is so clear and we get such a good look at the subject itself, it makes it all the more compelling. Blurry Bigfoot videos are easier to fake, but clear ones are much harder. Some say it could just be a really good costume though. But to make a costume look this real at this size and to show real working muscles like this, it would be very tough to do. And what would someone gain from making such an elaborate costume just to trick the internet? I don't know. Definitely some pretty cool and pretty interesting footage though. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Now, as promised, here is some more Bigfoot evidence from Ohio. And it doesn't just stop here. Stay tuned for the next clip. But according to online sources, 6 reported Bigfoot sightings have come out just in the last 5 days. User I'm from Cleveland on Facebook states, quote, "Only a handful of the sightings have been publicly shared. But investigators with Bigfoot Society say multiple reports have been submitted from the same area of Northeast Ohio. A few of the sightings that have been publicly discussed appear to come from Portage County in Northeast Ohio, including areas near Manua Center, Garrettsville, and surrounding wooded trails," end quote. Here is a map showing us the dates and locations of some of the sightings. Garrettsville had 2 reported sightings on March 9th, 2026. The Manua Center had 2 sightings as well, but they occurred on the 6th and 7th, and Windham had 1 sighting on March 9th as well. The Manua sighting descriptions include a 9-foot and an 8-foot Bigfoot-like creature covered in brown hair. The witness of the 9-footer said they saw it standing near the woods before it quickly retreated. The witness of the 8-footer said the figure had long arms and dark hair, and it was seen in the exact same area as the 9-footer. Garrettsville had an 8-foot black-haired Bigfoot. Headwaters had a 10-foot tall, stilted-looking creature, and Windham had the smallest creature, estimated at 6 foot with brown hair. Now, it's believed that no photographic evidence or videographic evidence has been released with any of these sightings. However, there is one mysterious photo that is said to be associated with these sightings. Not much information is known about the photo itself, but it's said to be related to these Ohio sightings. It shows a smaller, darker, humanoid creature walking through the forest. It looks like a baby Bigfoot. But also, if you remember from earlier in the video, I shared that new Bigfoot video from the farmer there in Ohio. And the next controversial video I'm about to show is from Ohio as well. I seriously have no idea what's going on in the region right now. What could have caused this insane uptick in sightings? Is the Bigfoot population growing like crazy right now? Or could this somehow all be explained? And not surprisingly, Ohio is actually listed as number 4 in Bigfoot sightings in America. And if you're wondering, Washington is listed at number 3, California at number 2, and Florida at number 1. But I'm definitely going to be keeping my eyes on Ohio. And of course, if I hear anything else, you guys will be the first to know. Let's move on to the next clip. Now let's take a look at this new and controversial Bigfoot video from Ohio. It was just posted to TikTok on March 13th, 2026. A quick disclaimer before I show the video. A lot of people believe this one is AI, and it definitely looks like it could be. However, all of the other new Bigfoot reports from Ohio are not AI, and were reported by real eyewitnesses. This is a completely separate video that has been going viral recently that I wanted to show you guys.
Holy shit. That's the thing people were seeing in Mantua.
But even if a video is controversial, if it's garnering lots of attention online, I still like to let you guys know. The man records as a giant bipedal creature marches through the woods. The man was reportedly hiking this day, and as you can see, he's on a hiking trail here. And he's freaked out by the figure, just standing there frozen, watching. He says, that's the thing people have been seeing in Manoa, which was one of the spots I just talked about. Could this really be one of the Bigfoots that was being spotted? Or is it just simply artificial intelligence? And because Ohio is a supposed hotspot, it has a long and interesting history when it comes to reports of Bigfoot, often called the Ohio Grassman, as you probably know now. Stories about large, hairy, human-like creatures in the state go back well over a century. And the combination of forests, hills, and remote river valleys has made Ohio a frequent location for sightings. Long before modern Bigfoot reports, Native American groups living in the Ohio region told stories about large wild men that lived deep in the forest. These beings were sometimes described as powerful, hairy forest dwellers that avoided humans but could occasionally be seen or heard. While the details varied between tribes, the basic idea of a mysterious forest giant appears in several traditions. So these types of sightings have been happening since the beginning of time, not just today, fueling even more speculation, even more belief that these creatures do really exist. The following is a drone capture of Bigfoot in Texas. It was reportedly taken in 2022, but the specific location of Texas wasn't listed. And it wasn't just taken by any ordinary drone, it was taken by a thermal drone. This remote control drone was equipped with a thermal camera that picks up and records heat signatures. The only heat signatures we would see would be from something alive. And this thing here was certainly alive. As they flew the drone over a remote forest in Texas, it pictured this anomaly. What looks like a giant bipedal humanoid is striding through the open section. Its arms reach all the way down past its knees, a common trait often listed in Bigfoot depictions. We can see it has a stocky build. It has shorter, thick legs and an almost overweight look in its midsection. It also has the common round, dome-shaped head with no visible neck. It's honestly a pretty good image. I'm sure when they flew this thermal imaging drone over top of this forest this night, this is the last thing they expected to catch. I also love thermal imaging evidence because there's really no doubt that this thing was there and it was alive. Sometimes in normal videos, people can mistake tree trunks or foliage for a Bigfoot if they're looking at it from the wrong angle. But with this one here, there's no doubt. Whatever this was, it was alive and it was out there. Here is another quick and new Bigfoot video going viral. This time it wasn't taken by a drone, but witnesses in a helicopter flying over a secluded section of forest. It was posted on February 1st, 2026. The caption reads, "Giant long-armed Sasquatch caught on camera by helicopter passengers walking along a mountain." This alleged Bigfoot looks gigantic. Seeing it from a helicopter from decently far away and it still looks this big, that's how you know this thing is huge. The figure constantly walks down the dirt path surrounded by trees, unfazed by the helicopter above. The passengers were in awe, completely caught off guard by this creature. And looking closer, this one has brownish colored fur. Most Bigfoots are said to be this color, or a darker shade, or even covered in black hair. But of course, again, there's a debate between AI and not AI. And I'm just the messenger here. I just do my best to gather all of the hottest new Bigfoot footage and show it to you guys. So I'm going to take a neutral stance on this one like I usually do and let you guys decide for yourselves what you believe. Regardless, it's a pretty cool piece of video. Especially putting yourself in the shoes of the helicopter passengers. What would go through your head in a moment like this, especially if you were a non-believer? This would make you question your entire life and your prior beliefs. Alright, here is another mysterious Bigfoot photo circulating the internet. It was reportedly taken in mid-2024, but where it was taken is unknown. It's believed a man was out fishing in a remote lake when he looked over to the other side of the shore, and this huge creature was just walking through the water along the side of the shore. It just walked along the shallows effortlessly, too swift to be a human. Even though he just snapped a photo and not a video, by its posture, we can almost see that it's walking through the water with little to no effort, just like the photographer claims. But if you've ever tried to walk through water that deep, you know it's not easy. But the features that stand out the most on this one are its broad shoulders and long arms. Its shoulders are exaggerated and muscular, wider than the rest of its frame. And yes, the image is pretty blurry, but despite the blurriness and the long distance from which it was taken, it's not a bad photo overall. And stories about fishermen spotting Bigfoot are fairly common in Sasquatch lore. Because fishermen are often out at dawn, dusk, or even overnight, they're in prime position to notice unusual movement or sounds in low light conditions. Common elements in fishermen encounters include a large figure watching from the tree line, rock throwing, a strong odor, strange vocalizations, and movement near fish activity itself. But despite the geographic differences in fishermen's Bigfoot encounters, the story structure often remains similar. Isolation, a sudden awareness of being watched, a large upright shape, and a quick disappearance into thick cover. This is likely because they're often out fishing in remote environments, and theoretically Bigfoots who lived in the same kind of areas would probably develop the same kind of traits and characteristics because of adapting to this style of land and environment. But most importantly, what do you guys think about this one? It was captured on February 19th, but the year wasn't disclosed. It was posted to a Bigfoot blog called Sasquatch Chronicles. The caption of the post reads, a listener writes, "Hey Wes, I'm a big fan. Here is a pic of a Sasquatch my buddy's dad saw in South Dakota while truck driving. He said it was on the side of the road, and by the time he stopped and got his phone out, it was this far away." The photo was taken on a foggy winter day. The field is riddled with snow, and sticking out like a sore thumb is a giant dark creature. It's standing upright, pretty far out into the field, just looking towards the road. Even though it's far away, it still looks ginormous. If you've ever taken a photo of something large from far away, you would know it always appears much smaller in photos, and the pictures never do it any justice. If that was the case for this Bigfoot-like creature, that would mean this thing is unfathomably huge. It's wide and tall, and we can tell it has a muscular and powerful frame. We can see its long arms and legs from here. And even though South Dakota doesn't have one super iconic Bigfoot case like the way Northern California has the Patterson-Gimlin film, it does have a steady history of sightings, local legends, and modern reports, especially tied to its rugged western terrain. Long before the term Bigfoot became popular in the 20th century, Plains tribes in the region told stories about large, hairy human-like beings that lived in remote areas. Among the Lakota, there are traditions about powerful wild beings, sometimes translated as giants or forest dwellers. These stories are complex and spiritual in nature. They're not identical to the modern pop culture Sasquatch, but they do describe large humanoid figures, hair-covered bodies, and beings living in isolated hills or wooded regions. So maybe these creatures from long ago are still living in South Dakota, and maybe this man got a photo of one this day. A man was flying a drone over a rural stretch of land in southeast Idaho. He was just flying the drone recreationally, trying to get some good video and just enjoying his new purchase. Well, as he flew it over this land, it spotted something below that looked like a person running through the open grass. Then it just disappears into a small section of forest. As he zoomed in closer, he realized something seemed off. The creature moved really fast, and not only that, it kind of resembled Bigfoot. It looked super tall when compared to the trees, once again too tall to be a human. It also appears to be one solid color, not like a person wearing normal clothes. But since the footage was taken from so far away, it's hard to truly see what it was. Skeptics say it was just a person, and why they were running into the trees like this is unknown. Others say it has to be Bigfoot, and they ask, why would a person just run and vanish into the trees like this? And why does it look so tall? There really are lots of unanswered questions with this one. Could there really be a group of Sasquatches running around this rural stretch of land in southeast Idaho? Maybe. The following is an all-time classic Bigfoot video. It came out in 2021, and still not too many have seen it. And it's nowhere near as popular as the other classic Bigfoot films like the Patty film. But this one is still one of the best, and it was taken on a trail camera. This one is called the Birch Day Bigfoot film. In the clip, a large figure can be seen walking through the trees in the distance. The figure is dark in color and moves upright on two legs. It seems bulky, with a broad upper body and long arms hanging down at its sides. As it moves across the forest floor, it passes between the birch trees and gradually disappears deeper into the woods. Some people who have watched the video believe the figure is indeed Bigfoot. They point to the size and shape of the body, which they say looks larger and more solid than an average person. The way the figure moves, slowly and steadily, also reminds some viewers of how witnesses often describe Bigfoot walking through wooded areas. And even though the footage is pretty dark, we see the creature pretty well. The quick trail camera clip was recorded specifically on April 28, 2021, at approximately 9 p.m. And the exact location wasn't stated with this one, but we know birch trees commonly grow across the northern tier of the US. So we do know it was taken somewhere in this area. But let me know in the comments if you guys have seen this footage before. I had seen it before, but I had never really covered it on my channel yet. Here is another newer Bigfoot photo that was released in 2024. The caption reads, quote, "Photo by Jared, who took this picture looking for a place to fish, past the Union Creek in the Rogue River, Siskiyou National Forest. He says he saw something large, about 8 foot, in the woods." End quote. The image does indeed depict what looks like a large upright creature. Through the branches, we can see its upper body. It's turned to the side, walking away from the photographer. We see its head, shoulders, its upper back, and its upper arms. It looks beastly and powerful, like it's just marching through the thick woods with ease. The Siskiyou National Forest has long been connected with stories and reports of Bigfoot sightings. This rugged forest lies in the mountains of southwestern Oregon near the California border. The region is known for steep mountains, deep river valleys, thick forests, and large stretches of land that remain difficult for people to reach. Because the area is so wild and remote, it has often been mentioned in conversations about Bigfoot. Many believers think places like this would provide the kind of environment a large elusive creature would need in order to stay hidden. For decades, hikers, hunters, and campers have reported unusual experiences in and around the Siskiyou National Forest. These stories usually describe large footprints, strange vocal sounds echoing through the woods at night, or brief glimpses of a tall, hairy figure moving through the trees. So pretty much the typical Bigfoot sightings we hear about. And don't even get me started on the entire state of California's Bigfoot history. It's pretty much the birthplace of Bigfoot, where the Patterson-Gimlin film was taken. Finally, moving away from Ohio, we have some Alabama Bigfoot photos. There are 3 photos associated with this one. One is close up, one is a little further away, and one is very far away. But they all essentially show the same thing: a dark, upright creature moving along the shore of a lake. The uploader states, quote, "A Facebook post has gone viral after it suggests that a man may have spotted the elusive creature Bigfoot right by a lake in Wilmer, Alabama," end quote. The first photo here is the best. It shows a slim and tall but still well-built creature just walking along. It has the typical domed head and no neck and long arms. If we look closer, we might be able to see its mouth open. It's hard to tell. But in the second image, we see it facing towards the photographer this time. This time it looks more broad, now that we can see it from the front. And in the third picture, it's taken from the opposite side of the lake, giving us the worst view yet, but still a fresh perspective. And of course, Alabama has a long tradition of stories about large, mysterious, ape-like creatures said to live in its forests and swamps. Many associate these creatures with Bigfoot, though in Alabama they are sometimes called different names depending on the region. Because the state contains thick woods, river bottoms, and remote wetlands, it has been a place where unusual wildlife sightings are reported fairly often. One of the most famous Alabama legends is the White Thing, a mysterious creature reported mainly in northern Alabama. Sightings usually come from the area around the Bankhead National Forest, and sometimes Jasper. But of course, the creature in these photos here is definitely not the White Thing. It appears much darker, but it's still some notable evidence. This one was reportedly just released on March 24th, 2026, just the other day. This Snapchat video comes from Huber Heights, taken by a man named Hyde. Reportedly, he and his friend were fishing at a local river when they started to see movement across the other side of the river. Knowing about all of the recent buzz about Bigfoot in the area, they were on high alert, and witness Hyde immediately took out his phone and started recording what he was seeing.
It's a Bigfoot. What's he picking up? I might be catching a Bigfoot on video. What the?
The witness seems genuinely shocked while recording, trying to figure out if it's a real Bigfoot or not. His impartial stance is super realistic too. Imagine if you were in this position. The human mind tries to rationalize what you're seeing, especially if it doesn't make sense. It seems as the video goes on, he realizes more and more that he might actually be catching a Bigfoot on camera. It may have turned him from a skeptic to a believer. Now the creature itself looks to be of the smaller variety when it comes to Bigfoot sightings. Cryptozoologists are calling this one a juvenile Bigfoot, but skeptics are saying it's a person in the distance. But it doesn't really look like a person, does it? It looks more large, dark, and primate-like. But what do you guys think? Real juvenile caught on camera in Ohio? Let me know in the comments down below. Now here is a newer and clearer photo of Bigfoot just highlighted on March 17th, 2026. The original date of the capture is unknown, but it was just uncovered. It's a photo of a jet black Bigfoot-like creature sitting down on a log sleeping. I personally think it's one of the better photos we've seen in a while. Ray Wallace, Bigfoot expert, states, quote, "Here is a picture of a female Bigfoot. I bought it from a photographer who was up near Mount St. Helens in March taking pictures when he saw this giant-sized female sitting on a log asleep. It was captured in an old abandoned loading site where they used to load out logs several years ago." End quote. Is this the first time that Bigfoot has been caught on camera sleeping? Usually sightings include the creature running away, attacking, or trying to hide. But this one is in plain sight, sitting there resting on the fallen tree. And the creature itself does look rather large and primate-like, matching recurring Bigfoot descriptions. Mount St. Helens is an active stratovolcano in the Pacific Northwest, part of the Cascade Range. It's most famous for its massive eruption in 1980, which dramatically reshaped the surrounding landscape, flattening forests, creating a huge crater, and leaving behind a mix of ash fields, blown down timber, and gradually recovering wilderness. Over the decades, life has returned in surprising ways, with dense forests, thick underbrush, and a variety of wildlife reclaiming the area. But could Bigfoot be a part of this reclaimed wildlife? Now, the Mount St. Helens region checks a lot of boxes people often associate with Bigfoot sightings. Vast remote wilderness, dense forest cover, abundant food sources, water availability, low human traffic in certain zones, natural shelter options, and a history of sightings in the Pacific Northwest. So is this proof that Bigfoot lives here? The photo itself is pretty amazing, but is that enough proof? Staying in the state of Washington, a brand new Bigfoot sighting has just come from there. It was just posted on March 4th, 2026, and the uploader states, "Bigfoot in Washington?" A large group of people were out doing some sightseeing. They were on a short boat ride in a remote and scenic spot. But then people began to take notice to something strange on the island just ahead. Now you can't really see it until the videographer zooms in. As he gets closer and closer, a disturbing hidden secret is revealed. Two strange figures are seen standing there motionless. One of the creatures almost looks more skeletal and more human-like, and the other one looks slightly more like a Bigfoot. Now, of course, some viewers and even people on the boat pointed out that this could just be some kind of prank. These could be people in a costume or even props, meant to scare the sightseers as they pass by. But some aren't buying this theory. Some say they look too lifelike, too alive for this to be the case. Others also say these creatures could be different kinds of cryptids entirely. Maybe some kind of evil spirit, like a skinwalker or even an unknown species of giants that reside on the island. Some also point out it could be our eyes playing tricks on us, and that it's some kind of plant or tree structure that just so happens to look like this. But I don't really think this is the case here. But naturally, because us humans try to find answers to things we can't explain, there are loads of theories being brought up with this one. Are one of these theories correct, or could it somehow be explained in a different way? Your guess is as good as mine. Here is the closest Bigfoot encounter of the day. It was uploaded to YouTube channel Monster Myth in early 2025. The man was out doing some hiking, just walking alone along the trails, when he spotted something that looked dark and out of place just off the trail. So he pulled out his phone and walked towards the figure, and watch what happens next.
Where'd it go? Oh, there. What the heck is that?
He whispers quietly, trying not to alert whatever was in the area. And then he spots it, and it charges directly towards him. It lunges quickly. Viewers point out its lunge specifically, saying it's way too quick and something about it seems animalistic. It also looks like it put its arms down and it's about to start running on all fours, an interesting detail. But this is all we get to see, because the man aims the camera down and stops videoing, and focuses on running. Something I feel like most of us would do in that situation. But once again, the Sasquatch-like being looks smaller, so this one is being listed as a young Bigfoot as well. But it's not often you see supposed Bigfoot encounters that are this close up. I mean, he's only feet away from this thing, and then it charges at him. He's lucky he was able to make it out of there alive. But some aren't too convinced with this one. Is it a man in a suit, or is the way it runs proof enough that it's not? And what would you guys do in an encounter like this? Would you stop the video and run away quickly like this guy? Would you just panic and freeze? Or would you maybe test your odds and try to fight the creature? I personally think running away would be your best bet here. The following is another clearer Bigfoot capture. It remains rather mysterious, with no details at all along with it, but the HD picture itself might speak to us enough. It was taken from out of a car window. Someone was driving along a heavily forested back road when something gigantic was seen standing just at the edge. The driver slammed on the brakes and the passenger turned and captured this infamous photo, this really clear photo. Now, have you ever been driving down forested back roads thinking that Bigfoot could pop out at any moment? Well, it turns out stories about people spotting Bigfoot from back roads are some of the most common types of encounters. They tend to happen in that in-between space late at night, headlights cutting through the trees, with just enough visibility to notice something out of place. For instance, the Fayok monster sightings in Arkansas. In rural areas around this city, multiple witnesses reported seeing a large hairy creature crossing roads or standing just off the roadside in the brush. These sightings became so widespread that they inspired the movie The Legend of the Boggy Creek. Another one is the Clackamas County roadside sighting. In a wooded area of Oregon, a driver claimed they were traveling a narrow winding road at dusk when they noticed movement to the other side of the road. At first they thought it was a deer, but as the vehicle got closer, the shape stood upright. The witness described a tall, dark figure standing between trees, partially hidden. It didn't run right away. Instead, it watched the car pass, then turned and slipped deeper into the woods. So this photo here does follow patterns of some of the most prevalent Bigfoot sightings ever. This is causing many to believe this one is legit, but do you? Now recently I've shown quite a few pieces of evidence of the Russian Bigfoot, the Almas, but I hadn't come across this one yet. This one was taken in midwinter in Russia, spotted by someone in a dense forest. The clip is quick, but it gives us a good glimpse at the Almas. It's a dark, upright figure moving quickly and swiftly through the snowy clearing. To be able to even move this quick in the deep snow is impressive. It also looks to be very large, not just tall, but pretty bulky too. The creature absolutely stands out against the snowy background. The snow and the creature are almost completely opposite in color, extreme versions of dark and light. A contrast that makes the creature almost impossible to blend in. A contrast that gives us a detailed look at the Sasquatch. Now, the Almas is a creature from Central Asian folklore that's often described as something between a human and a wild primitive being. The Almas is usually portrayed as more human-like than ape-like. What makes the Almas especially interesting is that stories about it go back a long time. Local traditions don't treat it as a supernatural creature, but more like a real physical being that exists in remote areas. One of the most famous stories involves a supposed wild woman named Zana from the Caucasus region. According to local accounts, she was captured in the 1800s and lived among villagers. Some believe she was an Almas due to her appearance and behavior, though modern interpretations suggest she was likely a human with unusual features or circumstances. So the video I just showed could be one of the best looks we've ever gotten at this Russian creature, a creature Russian natives know is all too real. Sticking with the wintry theme, here is some snowy Bigfoot footprint evidence. This one is believed to come from New York, and it just happened at the beginning of this year in January. With all the snowstorms that New York and the surrounding regions have got this year, Bigfoot still has to get around somehow, right? Take a look at these prints and let me know what you think about them. The prints are very large and human-like. They're too wide, too long to be real human prints though. Unless of course Shaquille O'Neal is out there walking in the snow somewhere barefoot. But taking a closer look, its toe prints look pretty weird. They seem small, unproportional to the rest of the large footprints. The prints are pretty defined though. Wildlife enthusiasts stated they could have been bear prints or something, but comparing bear prints to these, they really look nothing alike. Bear prints are large like this, but they're not nearly as long and human-like. And the toe prints are much larger considering they have long claws at the tips. What do you guys make of this one? And surprisingly, New York does have a pretty decent history with Bigfoot sightings. Even though when you think of New York, you think of the city and such, they do have a pretty good amount of rural areas too. And this is obviously where the Bigfoot sightings are said to most often occur. According to online resources, New York typically sits at around number 13 in the United States for reported Bigfoot sightings, which is probably higher than most of you would think. The top tier is of course dominated by heavily forested states, especially in the Pacific Northwest and Midwest. But it's still very impressive for a state that has so much city. Have you guys ever seen or heard about any Bigfoot activity in New York? Let me know in the comments down below. Alright, let's get into another wildlife clip to end today's video. This one is very shocking. A tourist picks up a certain aquatic animal that you should never pick up in your life. Not only this, but you should completely avoid them and stay as far away as you possibly can. But this guy didn't know this, and luckily he escaped the encounter unharmed.
So there, in my hand, is a baby octopus. It's beautiful. No food here. Look at that. Amazing. Let's put you back in the water and see what happens. You stay. There it goes.
The man picks up a blue-ringed octopus. The blue ring octopus is a small but extremely venomous marine animal found in tide pools and shallow coastal waters of the Pacific and Indian Oceans. Despite its tiny size, usually no bigger than a golf ball with arms extended, it has one of the most powerful toxins in the ocean. Blue-ringed octopuses are typically yellowish, tan, or light brown when they're calm. Their most famous feature appears when they feel threatened. Bright electric blue rings suddenly flash across their body and arms. These glowing rings act as a warning signal. The display can pulse rapidly, almost like neon lights flickering on and off. The octopus produces tetrodotoxin, a powerful neurotoxin that blocks nerve signals. The toxin is the same type found in pufferfish. A bite from the octopus is usually painless at first and may leave only a tiny mark. However, symptoms can develop quickly, including tingling or numbness, muscle weakness, difficulty breathing, and even paralysis. In severe cases, paralysis can stop breathing entirely. And there is no specific antivenom. Treatment focuses on keeping the person breathing, often through artificial ventilation, until the toxin wears off. With rapid medical support, survival is possible. And despite their deadly reputation, blue ring octopuses are not aggressive. They bite only when stepped on, handled, or provoked. So this guy was very lucky to escape this one unharmed. Alright, it's about that time in the video for today's wildlife clip. This one was taken on November 23rd, 2025. The Instagram user by the name of blushing_bubbles99 films the video and states, "Big old fella was using all his tricks this time. Nearly couldn't see him through his weed camouflage." As you can see, a gigantic crocodile emerges from under the water and nears closer to the filmer. It really is trying to camouflage itself. It even has seaweed and plants attached to its face. It's just such a cool video, showing us what this creature looks like when it's just swimming around slowly. And being just feet away from this dangerous predator had to be thrilling. Crocodiles are some of the fiercest animals on the planet. Crocodiles have long, muscular bodies covered in tough, armored scales called scutes. These scutes contain bony plates that act like natural body armor. Their powerful tails help them swim swiftly, while short but strong legs allow them to move on land, sometimes surprisingly fast for short distances. Their heads are built for hunting. They have long, narrow snouts, extremely strong jaws, and sharp, conical teeth designed for gripping, not chewing. And crocodiles are known to be ambush predators, and that looks like what it was about to do to this videographer. But luckily it didn't strike, and he just got this amazing video to share with the world. Let me know in the comments if you have ever seen a crocodile in the wild. I've only seen alligators only a couple times, but not super up close. One day I would love to see one of these beasts in real life. Alright, for today's wildlife clip, this one's a little different. We're not going to be talking about a known creature that walks the earth today, but a known creature that used to walk the earth, an extinct dinosaur. It's an absolutely terrifying creature that we should be glad doesn't walk the earth today. It's called the Therizinosaurus. The Therizinosaurus was one of the strangest dinosaurs ever discovered. It lived roughly 70 million years ago, during the late part of the dinosaur age, in what is now Mongolia and parts of Asia. When scientists first found its fossils, they were confused about what kind of animal it was because its bones looked unlike most other dinosaurs. The most famous feature of the Therizinosaurus was its massive claws. Each hand had 3 fingers, and the claws could grow close to 3 feet long. These are some of the longest claws known from any land animal. At first, scientists thought the claws might belong to a giant turtle or some unknown reptile. Later discoveries showed they actually belonged to a large dinosaur. The Therizinosaurus had a very unusual body compared with typical meat-eating dinosaurs. It was believed to have a large round belly, a long neck, a small head with a beak, long arms with giant claws, powerful hind legs, and feathers covering parts of its body. Estimates suggest it could reach about 30 to 33 feet long and weigh several tons. The first fossils of these dinosaurs were discovered in the 1940s in the Gobi Desert. At that time, the only bones found were the enormous claws. Over time, more fossils of related therizinosaurs were found, helping researchers understand the animal's true appearance. And even though this dinosaur was a plant eater, it would still be insanely terrifying to experience in real life. A nightmare mythical creature come to life. So let me know if you guys like this style of nature clip and you want to hear more about extinct animals, especially scary extinct animals like this one. Alright, I think that's going to be it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did enjoy, go ahead and smash the like buttons, Mom. Let's aim for 5,000 likes for another one of these Bigfoot videos. And if you want to get to know me more, you want to see more of my spooky content, you can go ahead and follow me on Instagram, Maxwell Fear. You can go ahead and follow me on TikTok, Maximum Fear YT. And be sure to subscribe to the channel, because only 20% of you guys who watch my videos are subscribed. And be sure to hit that bell as well so you don't miss when I upload. And also feel free to check out my special Maximum Fear merchandise and coffee mugs. They're in the description down below. And shout out to my second channel, More Maximum Fear, where I post other scary content that you guys would definitely love. Alright, I hope your fear was maximized. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.